Yo guys, what's up? Nate here from Protoculture and Shadow Chronicles, back again. Another top 5 video for you guys. A little bit different today. Today we're going to be checking out plugins from one single developer, and that is MeldaProductions. So MeldaProductions has got a really awesome free bundle with a ton of different plugins in them. They're all pretty fantastic, but I wanted to take a look at 5 of my favorite plugins out of that free bundle. We have covered the Wave folder as well as Bitfun in a previous video. You should go check out the top 5 distortion plugins as well. So we're going to leave those 2 out, but I've got 5 awesome plugins that we're going to take a look at from MeldaProductions. Let's check them out. Right, so I've just got a Groove Agent set up here with a bit of MIDI playing a drum loop. Let's jump into our 5 plugins that we're going to take a look at. So the first thing I wanted to just say is, I have mentioned this before, the free bundle is completely free. However, you can pay a small fee to get rid of the free branding at the bottom, which also gives you access to oversampling, as well as a couple of other features like customizing the GUI, which is a nice little addition to have. So if you want to, throw some cash their way, they're still worth it, even if you pay the extra fee to have those features unlocked. But you can use them entirely free without paying a dime for these at all. Let's take a look at the frequency shifter from Melda. So frequency shifters basically move harmonic content up and down the scale. If you're not aware what they sound like, let's just take a quick listen to what happens when we dial up the shift. So really cool for kind of automating that and generating some risers in your tracks. You can do a ton of other stuff here, like when you start playing around with the delays. Let's just check that out. Let's lengthen those delays, add in some feedback. So you can get some pretty out there effects with that. The delays can also be synced by turning them on here, so you can get sort of more uniform delays that sync to your project tempo. And you've also got some really cool stuff. All of their plugins kind of have this LFO setup that you can use, whereby you've got a bunch of pre-made shapes for the frequency shifter there, which can also have different characters as well. But you can also dial in custom shapes as well. So if you go to edit, you can pretty much draw in your own waveforms for use in modulating that frequency shifter, and then fade between your custom shapes and other shapes. So you can get some pretty interesting waveforms that you can utilize in your patches in these plugins. So let's dive into the next plugin. We're going to look at the Convolution Easy. This is a super simple plugin. It's a impulse response or convolution engine. So basically, if you're not aware how these work, they take an impulse response, which is often just white noise, and then it will formulate a reverb from that. So this comes with a bunch of reverb presets. We can just grab one of these FLAC files. And you have controls for widening. You have a high pass filter and a low pass filter. I would have liked some more control over the timing of the actual impulses, but it's still pretty useful for another reason as well. What I love doing with this is grabbing content which is not designed for reverbs at all. We'll take a look at just some FX hits from the Sonic Academy Ultimate Effects library. You can take stuff like this, which is completely not designed for reverbs, just drag it in and take a listen to what we get. So there's like a laser effect with a delay on it, which is now being triggered by our drums. So pretty cool for doing some out there effects. Great for if you use sort of long audio files as well. You can get some pretty cool ambient stuff out of this as well. So really cool little impulse response engine from Melda, and completely free. Let's check out something else. This is the Melda comb filter. Now this one's pretty cool because you've actually got 4 comb filters built into this one that run concurrently. If you don't know what comb filtering does, let's just take a quick listen to one of the filters. So you can get some effects all the way from sort of glitchy stuff to reverb-like delays. When you get that feedback right up into the high sections as well, you actually get quite a bit of tonality. You can use these as resonators as well to kind of generate tone from percussive sounds. This has a feedback, a pitch tracker as well, so you can actually track pitch that you're sending in and have the comb filter. You've got all the usual controls, frequency, feedback. You can pan each separate filter left and right. You can inhibit the lower and upper range as well, so that the filter kind of works just on the middle, for example, as well as in attack and release settings as well. You've got all the usual Melda stuff in the toolbar here. If you double click down at the bottom here, on the utilities section, you can bring up a modulation section as well. So if you ever need to turn on or enable modulation of parameters, you can do that there. It is quite hidden away if you're not aware of that. Let's just take a listen to some of the presets, then you can just see what these sound like with multiple filters turned on. We'll grab some of the creative effects first. Check out the resonators. And some reverb and delay effects. So there you have it, Melda comb filter, super cool effect to check out as well, and in the free bundle. Let's check out the last 2. We've got Melda Bandpass. Now this is a super simple little plugin, but there's one specific reason why I selected this one, because there's very few plugins I've come across that can actually do this. From the onset, it's just a simple dual filter. You've got a high pass that you can enable. The Q will control the resonance. Just remember the default Q is 0.71. You can actually go down as well. So it's not exactly like a resonant filter where your resonance runs from 0 to whatever the maximum is. We can enable our low pass filter. And let's just take a look at the different filter modes, because currently we have a high pass 12 dB per octave filter. What I haven't seen in a lot of other filters is the ability to do this insanely steep 120 dB per octave filter in Bandpass. So we'll turn that on and we'll take a listen to what it sounds like. Now I can't think of a whole lot of situations that you'd be using this from a mixing perspective, but it is kind of cool to have as an effect as well. Let's just take a listen with some of the EQ dialed up. Low pass. So that is the 120 dB. We'll go down to like 84, 48, which is a little bit more, and then all the way up to 6. So yeah, pretty clean filter, really nice to have, and also super quick and lightweight to just dial in on tracks that you need to low cut, for example. Right, lastly, the Melda compressor, or M compressor. Again, another one that looks fairly self-explanatory and fairly simple. It is a simple compressor to use, but there is another feature which makes this a bit stand out as well. Let's just dial in some compression on our drums. We have our gain reduction here. We'll back off on the threshold, put a bit more ratio in, get some heavy compression going. Attack and release settings. You can switch the detector phase from peak to RMS as well over here, and right up to 100 milliseconds RMS. Nice to be able to set that to peak for now. The thing that I like about this though is this ability to draw in a custom shape. So the custom shape basically overrides any settings that you have. You'll notice changing the settings changes the shape of the readout at the bottom here. What we can do is, and before you do this, I just want to point out this, in the toolbar you have AGC, which is auto gain compensation. Make sure you turn this on because you can do some pretty harsh changes that will give you massive amounts of volume, and I don't want you guys to blow your speakers. So either stick a limiter after it or make sure that AGC is turned on. But you can get some pretty extreme compression by dialing in this custom shape. So let's just take a listen to that. Got our compression happening there. Let's go custom shape. Take a listen to this now. Let's back into RMS. And you see that spiking to the red there. That's why I said you know to be careful with the AGC. But you get some pretty interesting movement going on with drawing in these custom shapes. Everything from sort of expansion to compression and gating, and it's an interesting way of looking at compressors. You do get some very extreme examples out of that. So I find that quite a nice little addition to this compressor. Aside from that, it's a great little digital compressor, sidechain capabilities, and all the other bells and whistles that come with the Melda products. So that pretty much brings me to the end of my 5 Melda plugins that I really like and use loads. Definitely go grab that bundle, go check them out. I will be back again soon with more videos right here at Sonic Academy. See you guys then. Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.